List of
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Drexel Free Thought Society Weekly Podcast. Sorry for starting a little late. We were trying to get a few interesting news bites. And sorry for leaving early, but we're going to have some technical difficulties later. Sorry. And by that I mean we're going to lose the computer. So this is going to be a half show for today. So we're going to try to cram in as much information as physically possible. Quickly!
Alright, so we have two news stories. One actual news over in Ireland. Ireland in the public sector will offer teaching about atheism. Courses will be offered online and through smartphone apps. And Richard Dawkins' children's book, Magic of Reality, will be included in the curriculum. And now the public interest story. The Guardian recently asked a bunch of atheists, what do you do in times of trial? You don't have religion to fall back on. And here's what some of the people said. I give time and tea. I help they know. I will help any way I can. Two hands working is better than prayer any day. Platitudes are the easy way out. Everyone grieves differently, so we must adapt. Next time someone in your life is grieving, why don't you remember that?
Those are pretty.
Yeah.
I still can't think of that.
It's like, I think some initial news bites that I kind of learned about today. There was... What was I just bringing up? Oh, there's a crazy person that ran one of the largest Christian youth groups in the country. I can't remember his name, but he ran the basement. And I actually don't know if this was recent, come to think of it. This might have been just a really old video I was watching. But either way, he was found giving an interview voluntarily while very, very high.
What the heck?
And let me clarify that one of the reasons that people found him so enthralling was that he said Jesus got him off drugs.
Oh, and real quick.
And also, apparently, there's the police outside. So, have a nice day, everyone.
Just an ambulance.
Real quick.
Oh, it was just an ambulance.
It was Mesochrysitis auratus.
Thank you, Dante.
You're welcome.
Dante was struggling with trying to figure out what the Syrian mouse was called.
Hamster.
I'm sorry, hamster.
Well, by the way, one question. There's a little bit on the side. How come we can't run Skype and Spreaker on the same computer?
Oh, we definitely can. Just not on yours.
Oh.
Hers is better.
Okay, sorry.
I'm with computer
Okay,
science.
so
What do you want?
this week we are going to be talking about what is good for atheism. There's been a lot of random things happening in the country, and people are starting to ask the question, like, is the new movement in atheism a good thing? Are the movements on the internet a good thing? Is it good to be strident and loud? Is it good to be accommodationist? Yep, we're actually having mild bits of infighting in the atheist community. No, we're really not. It's effectively we're deciding which is the faster way to get home, I guess. And some people think they're shortcuts.
I'll tell you one way to not do it. You don't go around punching preachers in the face and burning churches. That's extremely rare, by the way. Like, extremely rare. But for those of you who are thinking of it, you're an atheist and you're like, must destroy Christianity. No. That's not how you do it. And I'll even go as far as to say, no, don't destroy Christianity. I mean, if people are keeping their beliefs to themselves and they're not intruding on anyone else's, then I don't see a problem with it. What you should fight is ignorance, and especially ignorance towards atheists. So, in other words, don't give people who already don't like atheists more ammo to dislike atheists.
You see, you say that, but that brings up an important point. Disagreeing with someone, I don't think is being rude.
I don't think so either.
But a lot of people do.
And that's a problem.
And people see that as ammo for, they're just strident, loudmouth atheists.
And that's a problem.
They
have to learn.
No, and in that respect, I'll be like, yeah, I'm a loud, strident atheist. Do you have a problem?
But war and ignorance is not fought with sticks and stones, but with words, and just everyone could stand to remember that instead of going around punching people.
Yeah, and for those who weren't aware of the news story, I don't know if this was recent either. I'm so behind the times. But some guy who's a self-proclaimed militant atheist broke into or I don't think he even broke in. He just ran up to a preacher and punched him, pummeled him in the face. I'm pretty sure his nose was broken. I saw a picture of him. His eyebrow was ripped. It was a pretty nasty. It was a pretty nasty beat up right there. But anyway, the point is that the atheist community didn't pretend it didn't happen, didn't shuffle him around and move him to a different city or anything. we, like some precious people we could mention. But a lot of people took it on full force and said, like, this person is a horrible person. No one should run up and beat people up. He does not represent us, and we are all roundly against him. And some people even reached out to the preachers saying, can we pay for your medical bills? Because we don't want this to be the image that people have of atheists. That's how you act when someone of your group does something bad.
And it's the right thing to do. You should make amends, even if it's not your fault. You should always try to help people.
In other words, call people out.
You should try to help people, but you're not responsible for what other people do.
This is true.
But like, that's the one thing that's really annoying. It's the whole like grandfather thing, where it's like, oh, you're guilty of everything your ancestors ever did or everything your group does.
Racism is a big one.
It's just so stupid.
It's beyond ridiculous, honestly.
Oh yeah, the racism thing just gets ridiculous. It's like, oh, you're white, that means you should give me $10. It's like, what? It's like, oh, your great-great-great-grandfather held my great-great-great-grandfather as a slave. It's like,
does that mean you're
great?
a slave?
I mean, that sucks.
It doesn't.
I would disagree.
According to Christianity, possibly.
I know.
It's true. If you have a slave of somebody from a foreign land, you can give them to your children as property.
Cool. It's like a nanny.
I would say a slave.
I'm assuming the slave would be taking care of the kids. Unless they're adults. In which case...
That's a weird quandary. Do the slaves have to obey it? I don't know what slaves do, because I don't want there to be slaves.
In the ant world, it works that way. I'm not sure about humans.
Dante always giving the good information. Knowing more about ants than humans.
They're important.
They are more important. Anyway.
So I guess we can talk about the impact of the internet on atheism.
Honestly, by all means.
That's a huge one, and I'll be honest with you. I think that it was a good thing. When I was younger, and when I was, first becoming an atheist again, and I said again because I am quite sure when I came out of my womb, I did not believe in any gods. But
when Dante came out of his own womb, he did not believe in any gods. Go on, Dante.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it. In any case, I was growing up around the time the internet was just starting to come up. This was even before YouTube, and at that time I didn't know any atheists whatsoever. Actually, I didn't even know what to classify myself. I just know that I don't believe in God. That's all I knew. And then the internet showed up, and then YouTube popped up out of nowhere. All of a sudden, these people who are like, I don't believe in God, started showing up, and I was like, hey, this is interesting. I noticed this thing is starting to grow. And the majority of atheists I have either saw or encountered personally on YouTube were just people who are like, I don't believe in God. I don't seek to punch preachers in the face and destroy Christianity. I just want to tell people I don't believe in God. And I was just like, this is awesome. I think this is great. The problem is, the downside is that you have those few clowns who like the preacher puncher who show up and like, yeah, I'm an atheist.
Can we please call him that from now on?
The preacher puncher? Okay, the preacher puncher. Yeah, I'm an atheist, and Christians and Buddhists are all freaking stupid, So it kind of gave a window to some of those guys, but the majority of atheists actually look at those guys and be like, that's not us. That's just some clown who doesn't know how to behave in society.
It's like if you actually look at like even the most like outspoken and like, I think strident's the best word. Like
histrionic, maybe.
I'm gonna stick with words people have heard before.
Okay. Have they heard of strident?
I hope so. Anyway, like The Amazing Atheist, or Christopher Hitchens, who was recently passed, or I'm trying to think what, like Cult of Dusty is one that I've gotten familiar with recently. These sort of people, they got pretty much all, not all, but a whole lot of their popularity because of things like the internet. Mm. And even them, even when they say, like, I outright wish that all of religion was obliterated from the earth, they are, like, the most peaceful people you'll ever meet.
Right, they don't go around preacher punching.
They'll never want to go out and hurt people. They're just extremely loud and not apologetic about it. And I think that's incredibly important and a very admirable trait.
Pat Condell.
That's
who we was trying to remember last time. Oh, it's her. The one that left me earlier.
No, it's not my fault.
It is too.
Oxa walked in the room. For those who don't know what we're talking about.
She's not the disembodied voice anymore because we're all disembodied voices.
I am the only disembodied voice. Praise be my name.
What is your name?
Oh, you can call me what you want. Zeus, Yahweh,
Ishmael.
Ishmael.
David makes
You just lined that up, didn't you?
Yes. I'm a cerebral assassin, baby.
I don't know what you... Okay, so, the internet. I think it's been a great force of bringing people together and figuring out that they're not alone anymore. That there are a large number of people who think the way they do.
That's how I felt.
And I think it's also just... I learned a hell of a lot.
No pun intended.
Like, half of my arguments that I bring up to people are things that I've heard pretty much on YouTube or read about. And
which coincides with yours.
yeah. And it's just like, wow, that's a fantastic argument. I'm going to use that.
Information superhighway.
Yeah. And YouTube is just a great source of it. Because honestly, like, I do like to read, but I'm much better at remembering stuff if I see it and listen to it at the same time.
You're a visual human being.
Yeah. So
Most of us are.
that it worked beautifully for me. And yeah, so I think the internet was a good idea. And I think we can chalk that up as one of the good things for atheism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially when you got guys like the Hovens running around.
Yeah. No, actually, that's one of the great things about it, is people can, through a lot of effort, make 4 or 5 minute segments of film, or just people talking, where they can completely annihilate somebody's, like, 2-hour recitation. Like, that's the idea, is like a lot of people that propose really dumb ideas just talk forever, and then their actual points get muddled into the middle of it. And people made YouTube videos that just cut down to the very basic arguments that they're making, show the argument, show how it's complete nonsense, and then it's just like, all right, that's over with.
I have something that's not good for atheism. As you guys are talking, biased information. Like people who say Christians want to eat children, when really it was a parody video about, like, I don't know, a Halloween film that the church put out. And it's an exaggeration. I just pulled that out of the air, so it's really dumb. But I've seen a lot of titles of articles that are very inflammatory, and you click it thinking, this can't be real, and you read it, and it's not real.
Oh yeah, I still get into a huge number of arguments on Facebook. I really gotta stop doing that. But a lot of them actually have been, someone posts an article, I go, that's a weird name for an article. I go into it and read it. It has nothing to do with the title. And then my first comment is, you didn't read this article, did you?
Ooh. Ouch.
There's 2 reasons for it. One, people really didn't read the article. And 2, sometimes people put up false titles for SEO reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember there was a while ago, people I'm trying to think of what, I think they do it in like crappy YouTube videos still. They'll have a single frame of like cleavage or something.
The thumbnail, yeah.
Yeah, and then,
that's what it is.
And then you can pick that as your thumbnail. People be like, oh, cleavage. I totally want to look at like Stockbroker 101.
Yeah, it's
It
search,
looks exciting.
It's search engine optimization, except with pictures.
Yeah, and people do that a lot with articles, and that's
Boobs.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the fascination.
well, you see, what is it? Someone proposed this in some biology paper.
Isn't
Their
it a simulation of
chest butts.
fertility?
Yeah, I know.
They're fun.
No, you see their chest butts.
Exactly.
Chest butts.
No, because they don't make any sense. Like, they don't actually have to be large to produce milk.
It's
There's secondary sexual characteristics.
we're weird.
No, it's the same thing about, like, the guys' things going on down there. Doesn't have to be doing that either. It's supposed to be, like, thermoregulation. Then what the hell are elephants doing? Theirs are inside them and protected.
We're flawed creatures, which is
Yeah.
another reason I don't believe in intelligent design.
No, because, there's some evidence against intelligent design.
What would the organ that's responsible for the human race continuing and just have it flapping around? That's a great idea, guys.
Not a good design.
Okay, so there's this old set of videos that are like real men of genius, and real American heroes. And it's like a real man of genius is the athletic groin protector inventor. And it's like the inward fastball, the wayward high five.
Wow.
Wayward.
They're no match for your crash helmet.
And the internet helps push stuff like this.
It was made by Bud Light of all people.
Wow, really?
It's
That
Bud
makes
Light
sense.
presents Real Men of Genius.
More SEO.
It's 41-minute videos. I adore them. But anyway, the point of that, yeah, that was just bad biology. Running through the jungle, that's going to get snagged on something.
Oh, damn.
He stole your pen.
That was my engineering pen.
Was?
Why'd you take it?
It's still there.
It's like, that was my engineering pen. It's not yours anymore.
It lost its tippy, which is sad. It had a little...
Oh, yeah.
So
but-
anyway, what other things are good for atheists?
Nice people.
Nice people.
Nice people are good. I like nice people.
Showing that you do not require this deity to be good. So I think displaying that quote unquote goodness is also good for atheism.
That was actually like I had the privilege after throwing down lots of money to meet Richard Dawkins. And one of the things he actually told me was effectively, or one of the things he said in his little talk was like, one of the best things you can do is just go out and be nice to people. No, that's it. It's like, I think my question to ask him is, what can like we as young people do to help the atheist cause? I said it more eloquently, but that's the general idea. And his response was, go out and be good people.
Just be nice, and they'll see they have no reason to hate you.
With some people, because it's funny how
No, it's like the act of being an atheist is being a bad person.
Yeah.
it's funny how that
Those people
changes.
are the radicals, and you can't always account for them in equations because they throw everything off.
I mean,
Yeah, they're the radicals. What was it? 68% of the country.
Ooh, yeah.
I've never had.
I'm
this
making
happen
up
to
that
me.
statistic, but we're least trusted.
Yeah, I think
So,
it's closer to 50.
Less than rapists.
You're right.
It's they trust rapists more than atheists.
But I guess if
The
you
general
timed,
population.
if you timed it right, like they knew you were a good person, and then one day you're just like, oh yeah, I don't go to church, I'm not religious. They're like, oh okay, maybe this person isn't the weird atheist.
Oh, actually,
Like I was about to say,
No.
sometimes that works.
Okay,
sometimes it
so
doesn't.
here's some
Yeah.
more news. The Oprah thing.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so if I wouldn't doubt it. I'm not going to put words in her mouth, but she's just a buffoon at this point.
Yeah, she is.
But it's just like, what was it? It was, so she was talking with someone, I don't exactly know who she was, but it was like, I have so much awe and wonder of the universe, but I'm not religious, I'm actually an atheist. And then Oprah's just like, if you have awe and wonder, then I wouldn't call you an atheist.
She said you're not an atheist. She said that's God. It's not some bearded guy in the sky. It's having awe and wonder. And I was just
It's like, then you have weird definitions.
But you can't just make that up just because you have billions of
Doing the
dollars.
goalpost now.
Actually, that is the change in the goalposts. That's one thing that we don't need any more of. Is people creating straw men of atheists by atheists?
What? Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Atheists deciding what. This was related, not directly related. It's religious people make straw men of atheists all the time. Like that's just pretty much a fact. But a lot of atheists make straw men of atheists. They decide like there's the Atheism Plus, the Brights were going around for a while.
Rights?
It's
so egotistical.
well, we're the Free Thought Society.
Well, free thought is something you do. Bright is something you are.
Well, that's a different discussion. But yeah, so there's that. I don't think it's helpful. I think if you try to add things to atheism, then it just kind of muddles the question. Because it is just a question. If you want to know like what someone's opinion on religion or religions themselves or on slavery or on abortion or whatever, you have to actually ask the person questions. You can't infer any of this because they're an atheist.
Unless you happen to be a pantheist, I'm not sure if you can actually be one. Technically, everyone is an atheist to some degree. Think about it. There's a reason why somebody believes in God and not Thor. They're atheistic towards Thor. So.
Yeah, I've tried that. Actually, with the guy. Oh, we completely forgot to bring this up. So,
the dude?
Last Friday, we had one of the most successful events the Free Thought Society has ever run. We set up a Meet an Atheist table at the intersection of 33rd and Market?
Yeah. Market.
It was at the intersection of 33rd and Market in Philadelphia, underneath the Drexel Dragon.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. We would have people coming, like, from the first conversation, we had people having really good conversations. And by a happy coincidence, there was a street preacher 15 feet away from us. And we and people that were talking to us engaged him in conversations. And for the most part, it was extremely civil. So, happy day.
Mostly I got a few dirty looks, but not too bad.
We had the first guy is still my favorite talk. Like, there was this nice guy. He didn't go to Drexel or anything, but he stopped by. And we had a conversation. It started out pretty normally, like, who are you? What's your group about? And then he asked, like, really generic questions. He's like, what happens to your soul after you die? And then we just went, like, why do you think there's a soul?
What is a soul anyway?
And his response was one of those, like, bright-eyed, what? How can you... What? And he left the conversation after, like, 5 minutes, effectively saying, you know what, I'm probably an atheist.
Really interesting.
It was... He's like, that wasn't the goal or anything, but it was just, he never had these questions actually answered, and he never really thought to ask them. And that's exactly what we were for. That's exactly what that table was for. So, thank you, random guy who we never bothered to ask the name of.
And there you go. Not non-aggressive atheist awareness.
Oh yeah, there's the fun disparity. We just had a table and smiled and waved at people, and the street preacher had a megaphone.
Condemning people, sometimes he would look at us and be like,
"Oh, he was staring at us. Like,
you are a criminal.
Yeah.
You are a thief." And
he railed against homosexuals for a while.
He looked at David's shirt.
That part.
David had a shirt that said "Good without God," and he actually looked right at us and said, "You think you're good, but you're not really good. You're foul. You're dead inside." And I'm just like, wow.
You should have been there. It was exciting.
Such venom.
I missed the homosexual rant. Can we recap the conversations?
I missed that part too, actually.
It was.
I was talking to somebody.
That was his just ranting.
Oh.
I invited him to come over to talk to us, like after like the first hour.
He talked to us separately. Smart man.
Yeah, he didn't engage me and Dante at once. But some guy filmed us while we were doing that.
Yeah, I saw
Seriously?
that.
Yeah, and whoever you are, feel free to share it with us.
It has to be on YouTube now.
Yeah, I'll try to find it later.
We'll type in Drexel atheist, maybe.
Drexel street preacher.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah, Dante, go interneting.
Yeah.
You see, the internet is such a useful resource for the atheist movement.
Well, we can't get together in real life a lot of times because people either are too afraid to speak up.
They actually recently had the first all-internet conference in the atheist movement. I think it's all still online, like you can find it. It was like nothing but like YouTube atheists and podcasters, all in giant Google group thing,
Cool.
whatever they're called.
Hangouts.
Hangouts, thank you. And that was I missed all of it because of school, but that's just fantastic. There's actually like keynote addresses, like it was a really formalized thing.
That's
So yeah,
neat.
YouTube.
I found
and
our
the
Spreaker
internet.
stuff at least. Let me type in Drexel Street Preacher, maybe.
I'm trying to think of like more things that are. The one thing I think that we really need to talk about is like the accommodationist versus firebrand.
Ooh.
Because that's a thing that's really touchy in the community itself. There's people like Eugenie Scott who is extremely into the accommodationist side, and she's brilliant. She's a biologist. Yeah, I don't remember actually.
Nothing, sadly.
She's a good scientist, but she's also very into the idea of like, you can be religious and believe in evolution. That's totally fine. Come on over here, and we'll discuss science. We don't have to really have this big of an issue. But then there's a lot of other people who are just like, if you believe in evolution and a religion, then you're compromising something. Or there's people on the David Silverman side who are just like, being firebrand is it's like our responsibility to be firebrand. And for those who don't know, firebrand is the strident. If someone brings up the conversation, then you pounce on the issues with rabid enthusiasm, and you don't back down, and you don't compromise. Honestly, I'm a huge.
People usually hate those kinds of people.
I know,
Yeah.
but it depends on. I think it's a good idea to be tastefully firebrand.
Yeah.
I meet with equal ferocity, but without the vicious profanity and all that stuff.
No, that's the idea, though. You shouldn't firebrand doesn't mean you insult people.
Absolutely not.
It's where
But you're blunt. You're very direct.
yeah,
to
you're
your
very
point.
blunt and very direct, and you don't sugarcoat anything. It's like one of those you approach someone that's like, I don't know, what's like a really good example of someone that like people protesting outside abortion clinics.
Mhm.
Like there's the one idea that being accommodationist is you kind of just go like, they have the right, they can do whatever they want, let's just ignore them.
Mhm.
But the firebrand in people goes like, they're out in public protesting. That means they are inviting this conversation.
There really should be a flexible response, like you said. I mean, if someone's out there with a belief that is going to hurt someone, then yeah, reach deep
Should
into
be
your
challenged.
firebrand
No,
self.
but here's the difference, though. I'm of the opinion that it really depends on the religious belief,
Mhm.
but I can't picture a mild form of Christianity that isn't damaging.
That's a very good point. Even if it's just like, I believe that when we die, everyone's going to go to a happy land no matter what you did.
Yeah.
That's kind of a nice belief. That makes me
Yeah,
feel
but then it
happy.
has very
And you're
very
gonna-
creepy underlying
Yeah,
notions.
and you're going to be dead, so it's not like you're going to care anyway if you're wrong.
Well,
So-
that's actually what the street preacher kept talking about.
Why spend life worried about death anyways?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the idea, and I think it's perfectly reasonable to bring up to people, like there's the whole Pascal's wager. It's like, what am I wasting if I believe in this? Like you're wasting your entire life. You're wasting every moment that you believed in it if it's false.
He gave me a funny argument. He said, if I am wrong, this is what he said. If I am wrong, I have nothing to lose. Whereas if you're wrong, he's pointing at me. You're gonna suffer for
And
eternity.
see, my response was, guess what happens to you if Odin was right?
Yeah, that's the argument I brought up. I was like, well, what about those South American Indians that believed in some god named Muktaluk that says if you don't believe in him, you're gonna tap dance in tapioca pudding created by rabid hyenas for the rest of your life. Like, what's
Really?
I just came up with something.
I don't know about that one.
I just came up with something random and crazy like that. I was like, you're going to go to this really bad place, and he was like, well, they can't really do that. I was like, why can't they do that?
Why? How come you can do that?
Yeah, how come I get to suffer and you can't? That doesn't make any sense. He was like, well, Jesus is the only one that showed himself to be. I was like, a bunch of people from way back when and today who believe in different religions would disagree with you. He was like, they can disagree all they want, but we're right. How do you know?
Yeah. Then it's just the circular.
It was a circular, and that's what I said. I was like, this is a circular argument. We can go all day. I can keep bringing up random religions and stuff, and you're going to keep bringing up the same thing with no substantiation whatsoever. So, I don't know what to tell you, sir. I just looked at him. He was like, well, okay, I guess. And then he went to the next thing. We started talking about slavery.
Oh.
Oh no, because before he went to you, we talked about slavery.
Yeah.
And I had a guy with a smartphone.
He got frustrated. He was like, why do you guys always keep bringing up the slavery thing? I was like, because it's very prominent in your book.
No, you see, here's the reason that I always bring up slavery when I talk to a Christian person. It's the like this is another thing I got from the internet. They summarize this notion so perfectly. Whoever came up with this thing on the internet, it's like if you got one of the simplest moral decisions wrong, and that is to decide whether or not it's wrong to own another human being, and Christianity got that very wrong, then why should we trust you on any other moral action?
There's no extra credit questions.
Yeah, it's kind of just like, it does not take effort to decide that slavery is a poor decision.
That's funny.
And that's why most people, that when that's brought up, they just go like, let's move on to a different subject.
They cringe, or they go, oh no, or the biggest excuse, well, they used to do that, we don't do that anymore. But your book, still today, says this is how you treat slaves.
I swear that this guy is only comfortable arguing with people who never knew anything about the Bible.
Oh, absolutely, because he can best them.
No, because he can lie to them is what he can do. He can't lie to people that actually have information. Because like the things that I brought up was like he kept saying like Jesus never said anything about slavery, and I'm like, Jesus said directly, obey your earthly masters as you would obey God. Or no, praise your earthly masters as you would praise God. And he's just like,
what?
he just didn't say anything, and it was just kind of like you can't have this argument.
Oh boy. And I think that's another good thing about atheism is that I think that what's really good for it is when people question their own atheism. They're like, well, why don't I believe in God? And once you do that, you start doing what Homo sapien was, use the term loosely, meant to do. And that's to solve problems. It's like, I have a problem. Why don't I believe in God? Well, doesn't make sense here, doesn't make sense here. Oh, well, that's why I'm an atheist. Awesome. So now you're solving these different problems, and every time you solve a problem, I'm going to sound like a video game there, you gain experience. And as you gain these experiences, you gain new skills.
The video games co-op, we had experience before video games.
But you see where I'm getting at. So it's a mind opener, especially if you were a Christian or a Muslim or whatever have you. I think it's a great way to problem solve and think a bit more logically.
You've been very quiet.
I just had a bad week.
Why are you
Oh,
having a
I
bad
have too.
week?
I barely understand that I'm awake right now. I spent 4 hours trying to make an infographic for my EPUD class. I did not make an infographic.
See me, my attempts to make you smile has failed?
Well, she's smiling a little right now. I mean,
Look at that. Aw, look at that face.
and now Dante's.
And now Dante's dead. You sucked all the happiness out of him.
Can I poke him? I'm gonna give him. No, he's actually dead. No.
Finally.
What?
Damn it, he's alive again.
Yeah, God rose me back up, so I'm not an atheist anymore. Screw you.
Okay.
Next.
One thing that's actually, like, we keep coming back to the internet. One of the great things about it is now we have ready access to information.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, I'd have to actually leaf through a Bible to come up with Bible passages. Now I have the internet.
You just bring it around. Actually, I used to have a Bible on my phone. I got it downloaded
Bible app?
again. No, I had it was another one. I don't remember what it was called.
It's you, like,
What about that kids' Bible we were talking about last week? Did you ever?
The African American Children's Bible.
Yeah. Did you ever Did you do your research?
No.
Oh,
Wait.
Dante.
Research as far as what?
Like actually procure a copy and read it.
Oh no, I couldn't get at the.
have you ever tried to read a Bible?
Yes, I did it in 6th grade.
I looked through it
was
though.
boring.
They
I know.
simplified the words in there, and then they showed a bunch of pictures of like African American leaders, and then try to co-opt
And
God onto
ignored
them.
all the ones that weren't Christian.
I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure they would never put Neil deGrasse Tyson in that book, despite the things that he has done.
I actually don't know his direct accomplishments. I should look that up.
He's an astrophysicist,
I know.
and he's
So
awesome.
normally when you're an astrophysicist, you've done something with that.
Yeah,
See, there you go. They're not going to tell you that part.
he does star stuff with planets. And
I
stuff.
love the picture where it's him across from
Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan, and he's like, "What you doing?" And it's like, "Oh, star stuff."
I heard he's supposed to be taking over Cosmos.
Really?
I think so.
I would love him in Cosmos.
That would be amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah, atheist propaganda. I know.
Even though he doesn't consider himself to be an atheist, he doesn't like to associate that word.
What is he associated?
He just
I
basically,
think he just goes non-theist or something.
he's just more of like, I don't have any evidence for God. I really don't care. I think he's more of an apatheist. He really doesn't care. He just loves science.
which is fine.
And he's
Honestly,
not focused on not believing in God.
This goes into one of those topics I love. The fact that atheist even has to exist as a term is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's basically what he was pointing at. He was just like,
Yeah.
I'm not an atheist. I mean, it's just whatever. It's just a word, you know.
And I love the counter ones. That's a good one. It's just like we don't have a term for someone who doesn't like golf.
I'm an anti-golfist. No, a golfist.
Yeah, I'm an golfist.
I'm an a golfist.
That sounds like a fire truck.
You're right, it is a fire truck.
I don't believe in fire trucks. I'm an a fire truckist.
10 points to David.
Man, something crazy must be going on.
I mean, but that's basically what he was getting at. He agrees that the atheism thing is just silly. There's no need for a term for it. I just don't believe in God. Where's the science?
It's like, honestly, I'd be much happier if there didn't need to be groups like this.
Yeah.
If we
it's really not necessary. I mean, it shouldn't be necessary. How about that? I was about to make a mistake.
That's probably a better notion.
Yeah, it shouldn't be necessary, but unfortunately it is. We have to sit here. We have to, bring this bit of awareness out there because some people, they've been taught to, hey, Christians are the only people on earth. I've literally met people who think that Christians are the only people on earth. There are no Muslims. There are no atheists. So then when they meet somebody that believes in, the tap dancing hamster of the apocalypse, it's like, whoa.
I would love that apocalypse.
It's like,
that'd be amazing. It's like the clouds start swirling, like earthquakes rumble, and just a tiny hamster starts tap dancing on the table. It's like, it's a lot less climactic than I thought it would be.
She's smiling. Hamster! She loves hamsters!
Is it the Syrian hamster?
It's the Syrian hamster. It's Mesocracidus auratus.
There you go.
I don't.
And for 10 points, spell it.
I can.
Wait,
Of
no.
course, I'm not going to waste our time on
No.
that.
No.
But yeah, they really don't think that people of other religions, other beliefs don't exist, and I think that is sad. That just closes your mind to different concepts of life.
Yeah, I would dance on the rooftops if that's basically how our world was. Where people are just like, oh, so I developed this new method of thinking. Like, what if you thought of the world from the perspective of someone who created it? And then it'd be like, that is an interesting way to look at the world. It's like, what do you call this? Oh, I call it Christianity. It's like, that is an interesting way of looking at the world. I'm going to move on with my day now. Have a lovely afternoon. But that's not how we live.
No.
Yeah.
Things aren't about perspectives. They're about we are right and you are wrong, and if you say anything different, we're going to kill you. Or at the very least, we're going to remove all possible rights from people who disagree with us, so we slowly gain power over everyone.
Including the government.
Not saying there's a conspiracy, but there's definitely a conspiracy.
Aliens.
Atheist aliens.
What is it? Atheist aliens.
No, do you know what's kind of funny though?
What?
Is that was one of those joke things of saying you want to have evidence that Jesus exists? Have aliens come here and ask us if we heard about Jesus.
Ooh.
But the funny thing is, technically that still wouldn't prove Jesus existed.
Yeah.
That could be that they just grabbed some radio waves coming off of our planet.
And they were like, what's this? We should probably...
Or it could have just been
Find out.
oh, this is how these humans talk. I guess that's how they want to be greeted.
The alien comes off the ship. Hail Jesus!
Oh, we'd get so much crap if that happened.
It could have been that hamster for all we know. I mean, come on.
The tap dancing brought down the aliens.
Mm-hmm. That's how it is, man.
So,
How many in-jokes can we make in one podcast?
I don't know. We've been on a roll today.
what other things unrelated to the internet are good for the atheist community? What's helped us grow?
Books.
Books
Nobody
are
reads
good.
books anymore.
That's
No one reeds books no more. That's
That's
the line you're going to go with. Okay.
or
I actually recently
or
read some
or
books.
wait, would you agree that, and I put quotes around as leaders, like Bill Dawkins, Harris?
Yeah.
You think that was a good thing, or is it even unnecessary?
That's actually an interesting one because that could go either way.
I think crumbles paper in the background.
Why is crumbling paper in the back?
Someone make it in the trash can.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not recycling paper.
Mm.
No. Now I have to reach my head in there. It made me feel guilty.
Yep.
All the saliva and hamster guts and stuff.
Ew.
God knows what's in that trash can.
Dante.
God
People have
knows.
sex with that trash.
Why would God even know? Why does God have the information? Never mind. About having leaders, is it really a good or bad thing?
It's a mixed bag. Because in a way, it's cool to have people who have actually spent a long amount of their lives coming up with these ideas. Because I couldn't have come up with all of these notions all by myself. A lot of other people have been helpful in focusing things that I was already thinking about. But at the same time, don't you know that Dawkins is the atheist pope?
What?
I've heard that all the time. People are just like, you're Saint Dawkins, or
But he does not want to be associated with anything like that.
I know he doesn't, and
But
no one, and
put that on.
but that's the straw man that's created because this is a prolific figure that a lot of people do look up to.
He doesn't have a funny hat, though.
Maybe he does.
He just doesn't wear
I
it.
don't think I've ever actually seen Dawkins in a hat.
Me neither.
He can't be
Now I've got to look
stupid.
for it.
And I think another problem is that, and I'm
no.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. The other additional thing is the one annoying thing with leaders is they by accident represent the group.
Unintentionally, yeah.
So when Dawkins came out with his
Alien theory?
his the pedophile thing.
Oh, I heard about that.
He brought up that he did not feel that the very small amount of molestation that he went through as a child actually affected him at all. And he added, after talking with a bunch of my friends, I do not think that it affected them either. This was a completely it had nothing to do with anything. He just happened to bring it up in an interview about his autobiography.
It was an
And
anecdote.
no, but because of that, it's all around the internet. Speaks out against the pedophile priests, think molestation is fine. And of course, he heard about it because of the internet, and he posted a public apology. But no one knows about the public apology.
Yeah, it doesn't have quite the amount of press.
But that's the idea, is people that are in these positions by accident now have a whole lot of pull with their words that they really shouldn't have, because they're just people. They're people like everyone else. But they, by accident, speak for everyone.
And then you have followers, because let's just be honest, I'm probably going to get killed for saying this, but a lot of people are blind followers, and they're like, if he agrees with my one point, then he is automatically awesome.
No, when I first saw that point on the pedophilia thing, I was like, I respect Dawkins. I agree with most of the things he says, but I completely disagree with this. And that was just because the statement he said was something about how he doesn't think that it affects everyone as bad as some people say. And I was like, I don't think Dawkins should judge how everyone goes through it.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that's not at all what he said. So anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the followers, and then so now the pressure is still going to be on Dawkins. Say for example, you have a group of atheists who believe in, who worship Dawkins and all that stuff, some crazy mess like that. If the followers do something, they're going to hold Dawkins responsible, even though Dawkins had nothing to do with what the followers are doing. Say the followers go around preacher punching. There's Dawkins endorsed this because these guys like Dawkins, so he inspired them.
And Dawkins is just what the hell are you people doing?
It looks bad on Dawkins and it looks bad on the atheists, but they're not really going to blame the morons who did it, which is ridiculous.
And we have a minute and 30 seconds left, and this is going to be a half show just because we don't have any computers to continue the show with.
Sorry.
So we only have a minute left. Does anyone have a final point?
We can take a break and bring it up again, even though nobody can't call in.
Be nice.
No,
to
we
other
can't. We can't
people.
record on anything.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That stinks.
Yeah, be nice to people. It's not difficult.
Use your brain.
Use your brain.
Ask questions.
Question your beliefs.
Everything.
Question everything.
Including
Why?
tap dancing hamsters.
Wear top hats.
They're quite stylish.
You see, I brought up the whole thing about should you tip your waitresses or not? That's a different subject. Our money system is weird. All right, I have nothing else to say. So, thank you everyone for tuning in. Email us at drexfreethought@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Find our website at drexelfreethought.org with Colleen, our fantastic admin, who's making everything awesome and pretty. And that's just about it. We're all going to go now. Have a nice day.
Bye.
So who wants to watch them at the Academy of National